let's take a trip back in time. A lot of people on the internet say that before the internet, a log cow couldn't exist. And, that's not entirely inaccurate. We didn't have the term as a society before before at least the 2000s, or at least before Chris Chan. Chris was, by all means, the first lol cow. But let's go for a thought experiment. How would someone in the 80s view a lol cow today? And well, I did some looking around, and I found this dude. The dude you're looking at on screen right here. Wally George. Also known as West Hollywood Wally. Now, Wally was born in a year called 1931. And this is a very good year to be born in. If any of you know world history, well, we're going to skip that and go to where his career actually starts, or where this story starts. You see, Wally started a talk show in 1983. Now, the way this talk show was structured was quite revolutionary for the time, because it allowed audience interference or audience participation. But the guy wasn't really all there. We still had a long way to go before we had good talk shows or good podcasts or really good any kind of media of this sort back in the day. But still, he made a show called The Hot Seat. And he would debate perceived whack jobs on it, like this fellow you're watching on screen. Which, this is one of the most iconic Wally George interviews of all time, where he has this interview with a guy who was either paid off to be crazy or was specifically chosen because he was crazy. And these people are called straw men. Now, I'm just going to show you what happens during the interview right now.
Chickens? That's stupid.
What I'm telling you is if anybody is stupid enough to take the kind of drugs that are important. Not only were we correct in invading Panama and liberating that great country, but now I say it's time, let's go into Colombia! Yeah! And why? And why would you go into Colombia? What earthly reason would you have to go into Colombia? We want to nail those drug lords and throw them in the slammer! Yeah! At the very time when the Russians are releasing their iron-fisted grip on Eastern Europe, the Berlin Wall is coming down. You want to become the very thing that the Russians, you've been calling the Russians for years. You want to... Hold on. Speaking of walls, the wall just came down on you. You're out of here.
Now, if it wasn't clear to y'all already, the 80s were a time of strife among old people with the young. And Wally particularly had gripes with the punk and metal crowd. And a lot of these people would go on his show just to mess with them. And another thing is, this guy was in California. Not just any part of California, he was in Los Angeles, specifically Hollywood. That's where he got the nickname West Hollywood Wally. And he hated it. Anytime someone called him that, he'd have a little freak out on air. But we're not here to talk about that. What we're here to talk about is Wally George playing into the whole satanic panic thing, which was a whole nothing burger about people thinking Satanists were entering society or trying to or trying to influence the youth. It's total BS, considering that it went absolutely nowhere, and that movement died down completely by the 90s. Either way, Wally was part of it, and a lot of the bands that went on his show were there just to mess with him.
What's your name?
I'm Jet Jupiter, the Ayatollah of rock and roll. Gosh, I'm so beautiful. Woo! Yeah.
Wait a minute. The Ayatollah of rock and roll?
The king of steam, the ultimate, Elvis 1990.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, pal, I want to talk to you after the show. I want to tell you something. I have checked you guys out. And
I know.
I didn't think you'd admit it, Wally, man.
Wally,
I thought you were married, dude.
Hold on, pal. I have checked you guys out, and I have found out that you are the most repulsive, the most violent band ever in America.
and proud of it.
You guys.
Now, as much as we could laugh at Wally being a little bit incompetent during these interviews with punk bands all day, where the real funny stuff starts is when he started taking calls while live on air. Now, this is a tale as old as time. Prank calling public access TV? What is this? 1972? Well, a lot of the times when someone prank calls public access TV, it's only once. And it's not a constant thing. But for some reason, when Wally introduced this, he did this until the very last show he did. And, my God, all I'm going to describe this is, have you ever seen a Mr. Bass stream? And all the comments that are on screen from donations? Yeah, you're gonna get a pretty good picture of what these people are gonna be saying to him through the telephone.
Don't try to get through. We have the power. Yes.
Yeah, do you think the Iranians are also going to blow your wig off?
What a pitiful excuse for a man you are. I take it you are a man. I'm not quite sure, but if you are, you're a pitiful excuse for one. Thanks for calling anyway. Have a nice day. Next caller, hello, you're on the air.
Good Friday, Wally. Bill Simmons from Pomona.
Yes?
Yeah, I hope you can help me out because these liberals are driving me crazy.
Yeah, they're driving me crazy, too.
It's about your impotence.
Yeah, oh, gee.
Is Rhonda?
Rhonda? Okay, you're on the air, Rhonda. Don't listen to your television. We're on 10-second tape delay, okay?
Okay.
You're on the air. Go ahead.
Okay. Does saying twit or nerd help keep your dentures stuck in your mouth?
Oh, get off. Hey, Rhonda, I have something especially for you, Rhonda. Rhonda, run to your television set now, and I'm going to show you exactly what you are, Rhonda, what you are now, what you always have been, and what you always will be.
Now, we could spend hours listening to Wally George prank calls. And people messing with him through the telephone. But the thing is, people just didn't mess with him through the telephone. No, a couple of those people, Wally challenged to come to the studio and mess with him and talk to him live in person. And a lot of them did. And there's one particular guy with I think it's a hockey jersey. I'm not quite sure what jersey it is, but I'm going to name him Jersey Mike. And Jersey Mike, well, he's the most infamous of them all.
Go ahead.
And as you know, I brought my 3D glasses along because I wanted to see what your wig looked like in 3D.
I'm getting pretty tired of that. Okay, hold it down. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Wally. My name is Brian from Beverly Hills.
Yeah, Brian. Hold it. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. I hear you on your hot seat program talking about the homosexuals and how they're perverts and freaks and everything.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden Jim Baker comes along and you're still defending him and stuff like that. And I can't understand.
Hey, Jim Baker isn't spreading AIDS like your friends the homosexuals are.
No, Wally. How's your wig?
Now, Wally wasn't without his foes. And his biggest one wasn't some punk band, it wasn't some repeat prank caller. It was a radio show. And very specifically, it was the host of that radio show. And when I say this guy's name, I want you all to pray for Wally. Because the guy who Wally had his biggest gripe with was Howard Stern. You heard that right. The guy who basically invented how people treat lolcows on the internet. Or was like, he showed people pre-internet lolcows, as we would say. There's this guy on the internet who does videos on the various people who've been on Howard Stern show. And Wally called into Howard Stern one day, and Howard gave him a tongue lashing of epic proportions, relating to a bunch of Wally's let's just say bad habits.
And he works on a cable show that looks like that rivals Wayne's World. That's why. Here's a guy calling me morally bankrupt. I'm calling him morally bankrupt. He's screaming on his TV show. They sent me the tape. He wants to debate me. I'm going to give him an opportunity to debate me, all right, old codger. Fool. Is that you, Wally?
Hello?
Wally?
Who's this?
Can you hear me or you need a hearing aid? It's Howard. You're on the air.
Hey, Stern, I heard what you said, you stupid moron. I'm on no cable outlet. I'm on the Channel America television network, reaching into 35 million homes across America, you scum.
Then no one knows you. Where are these 35 million people?
Yeah, where are the 35 million people that know you?
All across America. We get mail from Buffalo, New York every day.
Buffalo, New York. Hey, you're really happening, Wally. How long you been in the business?
I've been in the business. I was 14 years old.
Yeah, 14 years old. So you've been in the business how long?
Well, I'm now 51.
51?
That's right, pal.
Oh, you got a birth certificate to prove that?
That's absolutely true.
Yeah, well, you do me a favor. You send me a copy of that birth certificate.
I'll be glad to do that, but the reason that
What bar are you calling from? Do you drink?
Hey, listen, it's 6:15 in the morning here in Southern California.
Right.
And the reason I'm on the air with you, Stern, is to tell you that I have launched a nationwide campaign to get you off the air.
On what basis?
Because you are a filthy, rotten garbage mouth.
A filthy, rotten garbage mouth who's made it possible for you to be on the... Listen, first of all, your TV show looks like it is a Wayne's World out of a basement. What is the budget on that show?
Listen.
What is the budget on that piece of garbage?
You're so lucky.
Plus, you have no opinions on anything. You're worse than...
Your television show looks like it's coming out of a toilet. And by the way, I have news for you. You've already been dropped by 2 television stations. And now I understand from the sources I have here in Los Angeles, Channel 13 is very, very getting ready to drop your stupid...
Let me ask you something. Why do you pay so much attention to what my show is doing? Is there a bit of jealousy on your part? You've been in the business for, 45 years, and no one's heard of you. No one's heard of you. You make no money. And you know what I think's funny? You call me morally bankrupt, but you can't even speak with your daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
You've been reading the National Enquirer. My daughter and I... My daughter...
Rebecca De Mornay had to change her name. To change her name from the famous George name, because you know why? You can't even keep your family together. Because you're not a family man like I am.
You are full of baloney.
Oh, yeah, I'm full of it. Where's Rebecca? How come she's never on your show?
Howard, the reason...
How come Rebecca's never on your show?
The reason I want you off the air is because I don't want people like you to be successful on radio or television. Because if you are successful, then there's going to be poor little guys around the country who are going to try to emulate you.
Yeah.
So I want to use you as an example.
Then we should emulate you.
From the airwaves once and for all so we can clean up radio and television.
Can I make my campaign now? I'm getting a campaign to have you off the air, even though you practically are off the air. I've never heard of you. And what I am going to do is I am encouraging people to get Wally George off the air, and let me tell you why. Because you are a bad example for all Americans. You are the type of guy who, I don't know how many times you've been married. I don't know what your morally bankrupt life is all about.
A couple of times, Howard.
How many times?
A couple of times.
Yeah, so what are you, a womanizer?
Hey, how many women have you slept with, Howard? It just happens that I married them because I thought it was a decent thing to do.
And you really held on to them. It was a decent thing to do to have children with them and lose it.
I'm not happy.
Now, as funny as that argument with Howard Stern, Wally George had was funny, Howard would end up being right, because not long after this happened, Wally George's show ended. Not because it was canceled, no. It was because of, At this time, Wally was in his 60s. Yes, he lied about his age in that clip. And not only did he lie about his age, he also lied about how many wives he had. A total of 6. And his last one being in her 20s. Which, it's not illegal, but it's pretty creepy. And, well, Wally's show ended in 1993. Lasting a total of 10 years. Now to the credit of the guy, 10 years is pretty good for any show in general. And to his credit again, the calls, he didn't stop them until his last performance. His last call, well, it was a prank call, and I'll let you go find that one out for yourself. Either way, you may be wondering, where is this bastion of American glory? The face of America. By the way, I didn't make up either of those things. Wally called himself that on air all the time. Well, unfortunately for us, Wally George passed away peacefully in his sleep at the age of 71 in 2003. And that concludes the story of West Hollywood Wally. And another thing I want to add is, how the hell does this relate to anyone in the present day at all? Well, all I really wanted to show was the prank call and his argument with Howard Stern. The rest of the video was just kind of explaining who this dude was. It goes to show that people will call out anyone's bullshit and troll no matter what the time period is, or how much technology they have at access. Either way, I hope you all liked this change of format for me, because that's it for today. I will have a normal video out tomorrow. It was nice doing this. You know, just taking a little break from all the new lolcow stuff and going back in time to what was quote-unquote a simpler time in history. Oh, and it really wasn't. That was a very stressful period to live around. Ask anyone who lived through the 80s. They will tell you that. Really, do not have nostalgia for that time period. I mean, it's dangerous!